yourself at home.
Yeah, you comfortable in the corner?
In your little corner.
It's a little warm. It's okay, though.
It is warm in here.
It's about 100 degrees.
Hey.
Let's get this thing started.
This is Corey Jane at Virgil's at Cimmiyotti's in Pendleton, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. Hi, Keith.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail. Hi, Keith.
Bar reviews, scooter talk, ghost stories. We're an independent podcast that follows a group of modern and vintage Vespa riders in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns.
Wow. Hey, Keith.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, welcome to episode 44, PubScoot 2020, COVID Country, Part 2. Yeah, this is where we again mask up, glove up, and head into the far reaches of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho to visit some of the most beautiful country, classic bars, and nice people in the upper right, lower corner, and mid sections of the 3 tri-state area that we cruised in. We've survived our 14-day quarantine after returning. We've already done one part of this podcast, and we want everybody to know that we met along the way and that we're all healthy and doing great. So if something happened to you, it didn't come from us, and hope you're doing well, too. So we're set up a little
different. Does that
different.
include all disease?
No.
Or just flu symptoms?
The cotton swab they're using on you is for a different one.
Because it was painful.
There's some construction sounds around us. We have more construction going in the neighborhood.
Never seen
here.
a cotton swab so big.
Ow!
Had my head in the corner by the time it was done.
It's about 100 degrees here in the garage, and we're back to social distancing, so there might be a little echo. We have to
Did you get caught or something? County swing by?
So we have a, pretty cool little podcast studio, and last time we said, damn the torpedoes. We shut it down for the perfect sound, and Beth came out and just went ballistic. So I don't blame her. We weren't being smart. But we're okay. It's been 2 weeks again. So we're in good shape.
Yep.
So there you go. We've got part 2 of the podcast to go. And
I'm a little bit disappointed that you didn't call it COVID-19-20. Again, you didn't use it, but whatever.
Yeah. Hey, so today we've got Mark, Coach.
Yes. Hello.
Been going on?
Well, this is my last
Podcast.
carefree week of summer vacation.
Really? Because then you have to move into your dining room?
Yeah. Back onto Zoom meetings next week and school the week after.
And you're doing distance learning, right?
Oh, yes.
So you're such a techie.
Well, it's one of the gifts I've got. And it's,
I just feel so sorry for you right now.
I know you guys do.
God.
So your wife works in the same school district, so she's sitting at the other end of the dining room table.
She's the techie.
It will be a family affair.
Yeah, so to speak.
We just won't have, what was the little guy's name? Sissy?
And also your daughter is starting. She's a teacher now.
Right.
Is she going to be distance teaching as well, Zoom teaching?
She's going to have to be, yeah.
Is she living at your home now?
Oh, yeah.
So you're
the
going to
empty
have...
nest is gone. Summer's gone. My whole life is crumbling
Did you
around
bulk up your internet?
No, I'm going to go down to school and Zoom from there.
Wow. So you're going to zoom down on your scooter and zoom?
Zip. I'm going to zoom down and zip back.
Wow. You've got a big fall ahead of you.
When I'm up at the pinnacle like this of life, yes, it's always a big fall.
And no coaching, right, Coach?
No, probably not.
Wow. Are you
Not in the near future.
A changing world.
Okay, Lizard, Lonnie, what's happening with you?
Well, a couple things. I just had a little time to kill before I came here tonight and ran into Bobby Chong at happy hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby bought me a drink or two, and you can't knock him for that. Bobby's credit card is always good.
How come he's not here?
Well, so I feel a little bad. He's my brother and all, and he does come in and sit in the podcast, but lately he's been a little
distant.
Maybe I won't do it this time. And so I didn't even bother him with it. And of course, Lonnie...
You didn't even invite him?
Bobby sends me a text, hey, Lonnie's walking into the mill. I go, oh, oops. We're doing a little podcast. So I think I hurt his feeling. No, I probably didn't. He probably jumped for joy because he was so excited to see Lonnie, he stayed for an extra drink.
Well, I got to tell you a quick story that I told Bobby. Yesterday, I rode my other bike to work, my Triumph, and I was bombing down I-5, and what appeared to be a big piece of cardboard flew off a truck a couple lanes over and made me a little bit nervous. The guy in the truck immediately pulls over to the shoulder. It wasn't cardboard. He was carrying sheetrock.
Oh, my God.
And it was a half sheet of sheetrock that flew off and flew by the lizard. I mean, I was a couple hundred yards away probably. But
Well, and you still have cat-like reflexes.
yeah, oh yeah,
Even though you're
yeah.
a lizard.
But it just reminds me that how fun it is to ride.
Head
and
on
how,
a swivel.
Yeah.
And why you have to pay attention. In fact, in Scooter News, we're going to talk a little bit about something like that.
Well, and that'd be a different...
Glad you're good.
A
Glad
different
you're fine.
version
Yeah.
of you getting plastered. For a change.
Ba-dum-bum.
You know, Lonnie, I had a hay bale fall out in front of me, a truck
Wow.
right in front of me one time, going into Reno. It was a sphincter
what happened?
tightening affair.
Did you go get around it?
I just jinked a left. I mean, it literally rolled out, hit the lane, and I had to go left to avoid it.
He did a Fall Guy intro and just flew right
Yeah.
through the hay
that's
bale.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, speaking of
Hold on, real quick.
Pendomino,
Was that part of your infatuation with the hay bale picture on our scooter?
Might have been.
which we never got.
Part of my
All of it.
mortality, which nobody ever gave a crap about.
Well, it was only when Lonnie was leading. He would not stop.
There were 3 great opportunities.
I didn't see a thing.
So what's been going on with you, Keith?
Oh gosh, I've been enjoying the sunshine a little bit, and unfortunately, getting ready to tear out 2 bathrooms in the house.
Didn't we just talk about your garage remodel here?
Not too long ago. Yeah, we're hitting every room.
I mean, oh, really?
Oh yeah,
How's that going?
it's.
Is Mary with
You're
you?
still a newlywed.
I'm being asked a lot about my opinion. Let's put it that way.
Wow. Well,
What about you?
Yeah.
I've been.
You're
just
always a busy guy.
Been working hard, been having fun. I do want to say that I whined a little bit recently about a review that he did such.
I
a
don't
God,
believe
we're
that.
going
He did-
back to this.
He did such a good job of reviewing us, and I was surprised to see he sent a private message to me and sent a really nice note. He re-listened to our podcast, and he just said, "Hey, listen, I don't like it still, but
Did he retract his
I
complaint?
think you guys are doing a really good job for what it is that you're doing. It just isn't what I'm looking for." But he sent a really nice note, and we sort of exchanged a few comments back and forth, and I invited him to be a guest here on the podcast.
Is
Wow.
he coming on or is he pulling a Bobby?
He's thinking about it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
You guys officially have made up then?
Yeah, we're fine. And it turns out he's a pretty cool guy,
Well, I'm thinking that
other than his taste in podcasts.
I'm thinking that my $100 gift card to Home Depot that I sent him is paying off.
Yeah. I think we can pretty much write off any reviews that somebody would have done in the future for us after we review shamed him into retracting.
Well, he sounds like a decent human.
He was nice.
Well, it's
So
no wonder we stopped asking for reviews.
we did. We were told to stop
One and
asking.
done.
That's not one. There's 37 of them. So I want to say thanks to him for reaching out like that, and also apologize for
That
whining about all
just
that.
to be clear, that's not your brother Bobby we're talking about, right?
It isn't.
You owe him an apology too.
Hey, fun facts.
Ooh, love it.
Oh, fun facts.
Here we
Your
go.
favorite part, Shelburne. And
Wow.
thanks to uberfacts.com for these. They sent them over to us and said, we're looking forward to seeing what you guys do with these.
Oh, it's really nice to have those guys on staff.
Man, I love it. I want to start this first one because it made me smile. But
Well, go ahead then.
Yeah, so here we go. Some Chinese companies in China offer 8 additional days of personal leave to single women over 30 for them to go home to date.
So when are you moving to China?
Wow. So just to be clear, they get 9 days total.
I think they're actually pretty good over there for time off for people, but they get an additional 8 days. That's 4 10-hour shifts, right? I'm not sure. I thought they worked a 4-day work week, 10-hour days. So
Yeah, well,
I think it's 420s.
Would that be still 8 regardless?
I don't. Yeah, I guess so. 8 days they don't have to report.
I think it's
in.
metric.
Well, I think this is the end result of the one-child policy.
Yes.
You think that's it?
That's how. No, we're not political. Please.
There's too many single guys over there, and they're sending girls home to procreate.
to date.
Yeah, and find somebody.
Huh. That's a fun fact.
I might cut that. I might cut that part out. Well, we're going to get a warning from the consulate. All right, Keith.
Not
I
the
think
one in
this is
Houston.
This is for you, Keith.
I think everyone knows this, but diet has a more significant impact on weight loss than exercise. Merely eating better can help you lose more weight than exercise.
Okay, this I put out there just because
That's a damn shame.
I want everyone to know we're helping.
I would still say, though, you need both.
Absolutely.
I would agree with that, though. I'm more exercise than diet, but maybe if I put the cheeseburger down when I'm on a treadmill, it would be a start.
I do know that food causes me more problems than exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't we just really exercise so we can eat what we want to eat?
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit ahead of the curve. I've still got to do both for quite some time.
But you've dropped how many pounds?
Well, last Friday, 17 pounds.
Wow.
And that was just one night of mad texting me.
So again, diet includes alcohol. So it's not just your food intake, it's your alcohol intake.
Right.
Yeah. So factor that in.
All right. Well, if I'm going to stop soon.
Eating?
All right, Lonnie, this is the great one.
Oh, the Google one. Google. Rumor has it that Google offers its employees free condoms with the phrase, "I'm feeling lucky."
I think it goes with number one, the 8 additional days up above. Send the Google people over to, wait, they're already over there, right?
Is that phrase like tattooed on the condom?
Yeah, I think it's printed on there. Yeah.
Huh.
And it's ribbed.
How big are the letters?
It depends on the size. I'm K.
When you only get I feel, you're not going to get lucky.
All right. Who hasn't done one?
Me.
Go.
Spiders do not have muscles in their legs. They move them using a hydraulic system powered by their blood pressure. When they die, their legs curl up because the blood pressure is gone.
So there's other hydraulic systems out there.
Yes, there are.
They can put a little pump right here by your
Appendix?
appendix.
Powered by blood?
I don't know. Well, yeah, eventually.
With a big unit?
So, yeah, I didn't know that about spiders or snakes.
Well,
I don't like them either of them.
there you go.
I don't think snakes have used their legs for millions of years.
Okay, this one sort of fell flat. You guys don't love the spider one?
Well,
All right, how about
It's
this?
just kind of shriveled up and died.
Potato chip bags are not full of air.
What?
It's nitrogen gas that prevents them from oxidizing and going stale.
Well, that certainly makes a lot of sense because they're sitting on shelves for a while.
Yeah, they probably for years, and they're still good.
I'll bet you half the people knew that and half the people didn't.
So when you open your potato chips, should you huff? Oh, wait, that's nitrous oxide.
You got to have a friend that works in a dentist office.
Those are
to know it.
extra.
If you don't want to go stale, you do.
Okay, so I actually have a question. So regardless, it's fun when you go to altitude with potato chip bags because they get big and firm. Do they take...
It's called the Mile High bag.
Yeah. Do they take any bags on an airplane? You ever seen a bag of chips on an airplane?
Just
yeah,
peanuts
they do.
and pretzels, not
But
chips.
they aren't necessarily like a Lay's or those ones that they put those. They're usually
Well, but they're pressurized, so it wouldn't matter. Never mind. Stupid question. Sorry.
Okay, moving on.
Thinking out loud.
Okay, who's up?
Well, here's a local one. When Bill Gates' daughter started kindergarten, he would drop her off at school in the morning to make things easier on his wife, Melinda.
Yeah.
What a guy, right? After seeing this for a few weeks, other dads began dropping off their kids at school too to make things easier on their wives.
Right. Or husbands.
Yeah.
It's Seattle.
It is Seattle.
Yeah, right. It is Seattle. So what's the message there?
Well, I think the message was the wives saw Bill Gates dropping his daughter off and may have mentioned it to their husbands, because how would they know if they weren't doing it already?
It probably makes him a plural pioneer.
Yes.
He's pioneered some tech industry too.
Right. So he's a good.
Are you saying his kids didn't take the yellow bus?
It's apparently not in kindergarten.
I've been over on Hood Canal, and I've seen Bill Gates' helicopter pick up his kids before.
Nice. Over by Alderbrook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
British spies used semen as invisible ink during World War II. This method was designed by Captain Sir Mansfield Cummings.
You know what? You'd just be writing notes to say hello to people.
Well, about every 45 minutes.
Exactly.
You can't make this stuff up.
It's unbelievable.
That's like the, I think his first name was Thomas, but his last name was Crapper.
He invented the toilet.
Well, he modified the toilet, made some innovations to it, and became known as the Crapper.
There you go.
There you go.
These fun facts are just unbelievable.
That's like Uranus. Did you know Uranus was the very first planet discovered by a telescope?
Are you sure it wasn't a microscope? Oh, wait, not Uranus.
Or a dipstick. That would be worse.
I mean, that's amazing. And what's a fun fact without having Uranus involved?
That's absolutely right.
I thought it was happiness.
You can't say penis without saying happiness. That's right.
You can't say happiness without saying penis.
Whatever. It's one of the.
They're both the same thing.
Man, am I feeling lucky.
All right. Here's an appropriate one for our Washington, Oregon, and just about every other state now out there. But consuming alcohol almost doubles the amount of THC your blood absorbs after smoking marijuana. Anybody got a lighter?
Now, wait a minute.
So I guess alcohol bloods or thins your blood.
You're thin, yeah.
And so my only guess is, as it does that, and then you take an edible, or I don't know, I'm not an expert, or you get some of those tinctures, or
It looks like you're trying to become more adverse to it.
So you drink? No, you smoke, then you drink.
No, you have
Well,
some
that's what
drinks.
it says here. It says after smoking marijuana.
Doubles the amount. After smoking it doubles the amount, but you drink first, and then you smoke it, and after you smoke it, it doubles the amount.
Because it thins your hydraulics.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, who wants to finish this up?
Too long for me.
All right, here's the final one.
Okay, you go.
A Texas man once went to the ER with a blood alcohol level of 0.37, but he hadn't been drinking.
What?
Yeah. People suspected he was a closet drinker for years because he often became unexpectedly drunk after
Let me finish this up. Drunk until doctors found out he had autobrewery syndrome.
He had autobrewery syndrome.
And what is that?
That's where your body generates alcohol after eating carbs.
Whoa.
And that's why I never get drunk, because I'm such a low carb eater.
That's right. I have rarely seen you drunk.
No.
In fact, I think I've said this before. I didn't know you drank until I saw you sober once.
Oh, there you go.
Transition.
This is Steve from Shooters in Lewiston, Idaho, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. Hi, Mark.
Wow.
Oh, hello to me.
Yeah, to two of us.
Steve was a good guy.
He was. And Shooters,
Good bar.
They were featured on our last podcast. That was Vivian and the engineer.
And I hope they have a lot more people in there now than they did then.
Well, they were just opened.
I know that. I'm just saying.
Well, that and we were there before.
That
they
kind of
opened.
bar deserves clientele.
They're nice people that were in their bar. But what happens after fun facts?
Time for
Scooter News!
Okay, this really isn't a joyful conversation.
Uh-oh.
It just happened today.
Oh.
This is breaking news.
Hot news.
Breaking news on Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars. First
What is it?
time.
What is
First
it?
time.
It's just in.
Just in Berlin, a man drove into motorcyclists and a scooter on a German highway terror attack. He went after him.
On the Autobahn?
Yeah, so this guy deliberately drove his car into motorcycles along a stretch of Berlin highway, leaving at least one person in life-threatening condition in what German officials said was a terror attack.
You know what my grandma would say?
What?
Well, you pick on somebody your own size.
He wasn't carrying a load of sheetrock, was he?
No. But 6 people were injured, 3 of them severely, when the 30-year-old man allegedly drove into several vehicles, intentionally hitting motorcycles on Tuesday evening. So for us, that was today. Berlin prosecutors said, and police in a joint statement. The crashes were at 3 different locations. It shut down traffic, all kinds of problems, and they're looking into tips that the man may have had possible contacts with extremists, they said.
Okay, so I'm seeing that the man was driving a black Opel.
Yeah, remember the Opals?
My scooter would run that fucker over. Little Opel.
Well, what was he yelling? Was he
Well,
yelling
what he
anything?
did is he after the third crash, he put an old ammo box on the roof of his car, claiming it had explosives inside. So you know what the police did? They got a water cannon and they started spraying it, and it popped open and it had tools, old crescent wrench and some screwdrivers. Not kidding.
And a 6-pack of Coors Light.
Okay, he did.
He watched one too many adventure movies.
Well, he doubled down though. He claimed that God is great. He got out of the car, and he also said nobody gets closer or you all will die. So I guess he was going to get after him.
Previously had done the same thing, basically.
Well, they think he might have been in a mental institution and has some issues. Yes.
Okay, so maybe he should still
But
be
I
there.
want to say he also hit a motor scooter and eventually used a car to push the third motorcyclist in front of another car. This just happened. I don't have all the facts yet.
Correct.
I'm not going to make any assumptions.
We should not.
But I
Can't wait
do
to
want to
follow
say
up.
this because, Lonnie, you talked about the sheetrock on the freeway.
Yep.
I just want to say be careful out there, riders, because they can attack from any street, any freeway, anywhere.
Oh,
Watch out for the Opals.
Let's follow up on some of the many bars, pubs, and taverns and restaurants we visited on our recent PubScoot ride, which was 31 bars in 4 days in COVID country. And to be clear, everywhere is COVID country.
and
just
about
that we-
450 miles?
540.
550.
40.
540.
540.
540, that's what it is.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I
And
think
correct me, where did we leave off on our last podcast? What bar?
I can't remember, but we did talk about Elgin Station, our friends
That's right.
Phil and Randy
Yep,
there.
yep.
But one of the things that yeah, Keith,
I think he left off at Hogan's, actually.
we didn't. Yeah, but didn't Lonnie talk about his watch when we were at Elgin Station?
Oh, he did,
He
but that
did.
was
did.
before.
And just an update.
That was at Elgin
Just
Station.
yesterday, I did mail the watch back to
Oh, you did?
Phil at the Elgin Station. He probably will get it today or tomorrow. Hopefully, he'll be able to find the lad that I bought it from. And
Did you describe him?
as best I could, yeah.
Was he wearing flannel?
He was a middle-aged, gray-haired guy without a watch.
Hey, Lonnie, I did have
But he had cigarettes.
a question about that.
Yeah.
Does that mean each of us is getting $3 back? Where'd that money come from?
So, how about
Did
those
you use
Mariners?
Our community pot for that. So Phil and Randy own the Elgin Station Grill and Bar in Elgin, Oregon, and that bar was quite old. If you remember, it was over 100 years. In fact, that whole town was old. And he did say, I heard it was haunted, but he didn't really have a story to talk about it until he talked to his brother, who runs the kitchen.
And he had something.
And his brother said, well, let me just tell you what recently happened to me. It's a short story. And also, if you remember, this place didn't even allow women in it until recently.
Good old days, yeah.
Well, maybe the 40s.
So we showed up.
Yeah, we were a bunch of women that were there. But here's Randy's fun story about the kitchen at the Elgin Station in Elgin, Oregon. So Randy and Phil.
Yeah.
From the Elgin Station Grill and Bar.
Yeah.
In Elgin, Oregon, and my last name is Helgin.
Really?
Get out. So you have a ghost in here.
Well, that's the history of this place. I guess it's super old. Anyway, we just bought brand new freezers and refrigerators. They have super hard seals. You can't You have to tug on them to open them. The other morning, I'm in the bar, and I'm turning the TVs on, and I hear this clapping, you know. And I look over, and this brand new freezer, who's got the super hard sill, is going like this: open and close, 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 open and close. Nobody else in the place but me, you know. It's like, and then so I'm like, well, what the hell's going on? So it stops. So I go over there and I go to open the thing, and the freezer is like, it's still stuck. You can't. It will not do this normally.
So your ghost saw the new equipment, was checking it out.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it freaked me out for a second.
Well, Phil said that the story is it is haunted, but he hadn't seen anything, but you have.
That's what I've seen so far.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys have our sticker on our website. If something else comes up, we want to hear about it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I'll do it.
All right. I like your Harleys.
Man with a sense of humor.
Yeah. They'd only bought the place about a year ago,
Yeah, they were relatively new owners.
and they were good guys.
You know what? I'm really surprised you didn't get hit by a car doing that interview in the middle of the street.
Well, as we were sitting there, some guys backed their Harleys in. We were not riding Harleys. It wasn't our Harleys that they liked. Lonnie, you should call down there and let them know that package is coming.
I did. Well, I did send him a little note, and I gave him my email, and I'm hoping that he'll respond back and let me know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Phil from Elgin Station Grill and Bar in Elgin, Oregon, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
There you go.
There's Phil.
We got them all in there. So from the Elgin Station, we actually went up over a pass, and we made a couple of stops, if not two.
Yep.
Well, it's a long. It was almost a 40-minute ride. We had to stop.
And a big elevation.
Yeah. Do you remember that? We stopped at that big clearing at the,
On the
summit,
right side, yeah.
Yep.
and looked for Sasquatch.
Relieved and reloaded
I was going to say, wasn't that soon after the tar patches had us all in a
bunch.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we stopped before the
The
ascent.
tar patches were before Elgin, and then we went up there.
No, it was after Elgin.
But those things make me nervous.
Yeah.
Well, when you're going sideways at 50
Yeah.
miles an hour and it's 2,000 feet down on the other side. Yeah.
I did, Lizard, notice a difference in your driving or your riding after the slippage.
Well,
You almost
you
went
know
the
what?
other lane.
I'm in my 60s now, and I'm a little bit more cautious than I used to be.
There's a little bit of an odor following him, too. I'm not sure what that was.
I said I'm in my 60s now.
Mark, you know how to deal with that.
Put your mask on. So we ended up in Weston, Oregon after leaving Elgin to Weston.
And that was a tricky town.
That was different. It was
Wow.
a farm town in the middle of farm country over the other top of the pass we came into, heading down into Pendleton, into the Pendleton area. And we went into a place called the Long Branch Saloon.
Thinking we had a gold mine.
Which had great curb appeal.
Yeah.
It really did
Yeah.
from the outside.
Yeah.
It was just
Like a great bar.
old Western, 100-year-old looking place, pretty big. Had a cafe on one side, and then the lounge entrance or the bar entrance next to it.
Yeah.
Maybe 30, 40 feet down over.
Nice outer facade.
Yeah, and the Harley was parked out front. It was like, okay,
Small
let's-
town road.
small little,
It was wonderful.
Yeah. So we walk in, and there was a wall of sound, and it
Oh,
was
shit.
Grunge.
It was
Horrible.
Grunge metal.
No, it was angry, heavy metal music.
Yeah.
Screaming, angry, and so loud at 2:00 in the afternoon that your ears hurt. I mean, I like loud music, and I like all kinds of music, but that was really uncomfortable because the bliss of the outside, walking to the inside. Still, we walked in.
We
And had a drink.
Well, and the service, if I remember right, wasn't great either. We sat there for a
That's
while.
right. Yeah.
She, well,
Couple of you
she
guys
ignored
left.
us. She ignored
Bob,
us. Yeah.
Elgin, you and Bobby said, "Fuck this, we're out of here."
Well, Bobby said, he had his hearing aid.
You could have just turned him down.
Yeah. So he said, "Hey, did you see that place when we were driving into town down the way?" And I said, "Yeah, it looked like a little house and cafe with bright little umbrellas and a deck and bougainvillea growing all around everything.
With a creek running near
Some
it.
lovely music playing.
So I said, Bobby, I'll let these guys know. I'll meet you down there. So I walked down there, and Bobby's just sitting at a table for 6 by himself with a lovely glass of chilled white wine.
Taking the spider approach.
With a
He
big-
was just going to wait for us.
Big smile on his face. And we met the great people at the place called the Upper Crust
Weston.
in
Yeah.
Weston. Lori Ann, Sister Pam, and their Brit hubby, actually
Well, it wasn't
Scottish.
their
friend.
husband. It was her husband.
Right.
Pam's husband.
Pam's husband.
We don't know exactly what the arrangements were.
Well, I know this. Whatever it is, it worked great for us. They were wonderful.
So I sit down with Bob. I think I walked back and said, we're going to be down here. I sit down with Bob. We suck down 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and you come strolling down and sit down and go, we're sitting outside near a creek, beautiful greenery around us.
In the shade.
And then they proceeded to take such great care of us.
Spoiled us.
Spoilt us. They brought out this huge plate of
Test crunchies.
Yeah.
UK delicacies, right? They brought
With cheese
pork
something.
and cheese and all kinds of snacks. And we go, whoa, we didn't order this. I saw it on the menu. And they go, no, this is on us. Please enjoy. And they were just so great.
And some sort of crunchy chip he
That was
created.
something they deep fried, right?
Yeah.
It was a
Grew,
pasta.
yeah.
Pasta.
It was a
Yeah.
pasta they deep fried that was delicious. I wish I could remember.
Wagon wheel pasta.
Do you remember
That's
what
right,
what it was
yes.
called though? It had a name.
No.
That's it.
Anyway, we ended up staying there for about 90 minutes.
At least.
Our normal stop is 20 or 30 minutes.
They were closed,
Yeah.
remember? But they were just lovely people. Yeah, it was
we
fun.
threw the disclaimer right out the window on that stop.
Yeah, that was. I got drugged kicking and screaming out of the Long Branch. That was my favorite place because Hitler's Proctologist was on the jukebox. That's my favorite band.
Was it really? Yeah,
No,
you were
I
picking
don't
out
know.
music, weren't you?
I tried to get some ZZ
tried-
Top for God's sakes.
Yeah.
No, that Upper Crust was. You got to go there.
Yeah.
It was one of the highlights of our trip.
It really was. And not
Absolutely.
only that, but she said, yeah, the locals don't come here. We go, yeah, we were where the locals go. And God hates everybody in that place.
And they're only open Thursday through Sunday or something? Reservations only?
yeah.
For dinner or something?
Yeah, they were pretty tight on their hours.
Well, they kicked us out because they had to get ready for dinner.
Right. In fact, there was a woman and her son that came in, and they go, we can't help you yet. You need to come back later.
And we saw, what's his name's Family Crest?
His name was David, wasn't it?
I believe so.
think it
And
was.
He was.
Yeah.
I think he was Scottish, but he was in the
He
English.
was
Yeah, he had
English.
some- he had some blood.
He was English, but lived in Scotland or something like that because he was
Yeah.
part of the army.
Yeah, he was great. So thank you to the Upper Crust for a highlight of our
Yeah.
trip.
And a
Absolutely,
real
sure.
kilt is heavy.
Yes.
You guys remember that?
Did you
To
lift
keep
it?
the flaps-
Did you and he?
That thing
Did you
was-
lift that kilt while
I
you were
did,
back
yeah.
there in the kitchen with him?
That was just the front part.
Hey, if I had a
keep the
kilt,
flap down.
it'd be heavy too, so it wouldn't blow in the wind.
They've got to wait for that.
So we left the Upper Crust, and then we had a really kind of nice ride, kind of seeing the river in the distance and getting
Headed
down
toward Pendleton.
Headed toward Pendleton, and we rolled through Pendleton like the badasses we are. But a bunch of guys, 6 guys on scooters. Right. You said you were going to whistle. Please don't whistle. And we ended up staying in Old Town Pendleton at the Whiskey Inn.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. A part of me stayed there.
Quite an adventure.
I'm not sure we slept, but we stayed there.
We slept.
One eye open.
And it was facing the door. But actually, it was just fine. We didn't have any real problems. You guys had a little interaction upstairs with somebody that was
the guest,
cruising
the
around.
night guest.
That was a ghost.
Yeah. Well, she was.
That
She was a ghost.
She
on
was
crack.
working.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we
Price was right.
we parked our scooters for the night, right? And we hit the town.
Yes.
Old
Some of
Town.
you parked your scooters for the night, right, Mark?
That's right. Well, that's later in the night.
And we left and we went. Our first stop, I think, was just Keith and I, or who was it that we went into Hambley's into the Western Wear store?
I was there.
Lizard, myself, and you.
and not Keith.
I was there.
Oh, so all four of us. And we
Let's put him on the cutting room floor.
yeah.
Which was a really cool store. We shopped for boots and Western wear, and
We bought nothing.
I want to go back though.
But we ended up with this.
Okay, this is Johnny, and this is Violet, and you're at Hamley Western Store in Pendleton, Oregon, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
And they love it.
Right.
And you so desperately wanted the one girl to do the transition. She wouldn't until the other girl did it, and she kind of jumped in.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah. It was a cool store. It really was.
And they also had a bar
legendary.
next door to it. They owned the bar, the whiskey bar.
Adjacent to it, yeah.
So we had whiskeys there.
We did.
And Bobby joined us.
That was
at
a
that
nice...
point. And Mike and Bobby joined
Mike,
us
yeah.
at that point.
That was a nice old restaurant
So
bar.
we caught up with everybody, and we made reservations for dinner while we were there. For a little bit later at Cimmiyotti's. Virgil's at Cimmiyotti's was where we made reservations. We did that based on just their ratings, and it was a prime steakhouse, and it looked really good, an old building.
Feedback, yeah.
and we had a coupon.
We had no coupon.
Yeah, Groupon.
Next time we'll have the coupon. And so we had to kind of wait around, and we ended up walking down to the Prodigal Son.
I liked that place. It was a little eclectic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a little offbeat.
And we were admiring a picture, and some dude from the back goes, "That picture sucks. That artist sucks." Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
And we looked at him and was like, "No, we kind of like this picture." And he goes, "Oh, I painted it." And he was sitting by himself at a table.
Yep.
And
That's right.
In fact, I think everything on the wall was by him in there.
Oh, it
If
was?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
Yeah.
but they had a great sticker. Keith, I think you bought a bunch of stickers for all of us and
Yeah.
wanted to harness
did.
my scooter right now.
Yes.
So Prodigal Son Brewery in Pendleton was a nice spot.
Yes.
Nice stop. We weren't there long, maybe half hour. We're on foot,
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Good place. I would go there again.
Yeah, an Old Town Pendleton is just that. It's an old Western town, and I know people go to the Pendleton Roundup in September's, I think is when that is. But I've never been, and I don't know anything about it.
I haven't either, but I've heard it's crazy.
I was going to say, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
that
I would go
place
back
is
to
right.
Pendleton anytime, though.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that town.
When it's
Yep.
open, yeah.
Yep.
Because everything shut down at 10, even in Pendleton.
Not really, because Krabby's was open.
Until
Krabby's Underground. But we went there after dinner at Cimmiotti's, and we also had breakfast the next morning at the Saddle. And if you remember her story, she said they had a demon there.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. She goes, we had a demon and it had to be exorcised. Well, I don't know if she ever said it was exorcised, but they had a dark entity, or still do.
Well, again, it's the diet intake that's more important than the exercise,
Yeah,
as we've learned.
absolutely. Whether with an E or an O. I got to tell you, I think, as we've known through the years, like the breakfast at the Saddle, good Lord. You find the best food on these trips.
I know, it was really good.
It really was.
I mean, it all came out at the same time.
Yeah.
For 6 of us, it was hot. It was well done. It was not
Yep.
well done because I had
just-
over easy.
Right. But good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did a good job. So thanks to the Saddle. But we do need to talk a little bit about
Our dinner stop.
our dinner stop, because I think it was the other highlight of the trip.
Yes.
It was that place that we talked about in the last podcast that checked every box.
Yes.
It was
Check.
great food,
Yep.
classic old historic building, really cool owners,
Yep.
haunted,
Check.
and
But couldn't you put just a simple cheeseburger on the menu?
okay, Jennifer and Patience, we would like a prime cheeseburger.
Not even
added to
prime,
them.
just a kid's burger, something. I had something bacon wrap thing. Only thing I found.
So there's your request. But we were served by Corey Jane.
Loved Corey Jane.
So we were walking up the stairs into this old place, and I looked in the corner where she was at the server station, and I don't even know why I said it, but I said, there is a ghost right there. And she
With one of your premonitions.
it wasn't I don't know if a premonition is the right word. I just think my
Fucking feeling?
my third eye saw something.
Oh. Hello.
So
Upscope.
You just were a little bit, I don't want to say creeped out, but you had something going on.
something happened, yeah. And she goes, "Oh my God, I'm going to tell the owner." And then she proceeded to take great care of us. 6 of us sitting at the table. There was another couple 10, 15, 20 feet away, which apparently we overwhelmed with our noise. Was that true, Keith?
No, I think Keith was just trying to be a real nice guy. And
We may have disrupted their dinner a little bit. I
well,
don't think they
we
were.
ruined their romantic dinner.
That's
It
probably
just
true.
became a dinner for them.
They had asked for a table upstairs away
Well,
from
when
everybody,
when I sat down at the table with them, I think that romance was out.
especially after she met you.
No, when you started singing that Burt Bacharach song.
I thought it was Sam Jones.
So now, between all of you guys, who had the beef
Stroganoff? I did.
Stroganoff.
2 of you?
It's fabulous. Yeah.
Oh,
And
it
Mark,
was
you had a
great.
bacon wrapped something?
Yeah, it was something, an appetizer, because it was the only
you-
thing I saw
and a salad,
I could
maybe?
handle. I don't even know if I had I think maybe a simple salad, yeah.
Yeah, I had a martini or 3.
They had good blue cheese too.
Yeah, their martinis were great.
Maybe
Knocked
that's
Good
them right
Manhattan.
out.
They had good Manhattans.
Well, and you taught patients how to make a perfect Manhattan later on.
Oh,
on our
you
way
did?
out.
On the
I
way
did
out?
not know
Yes,
that.
we did.
Did you have a drink on the way out?
Yes, I did.
Did I?
I don't recall.
I'm
I don't
sure you
recall,
did.
Senator. So yeah, it was, and then Patience, Jennifer, the owner's daughter, rides a Vespa.
Who knew?
Wow.
Who was,
I mean,
who was
so-
the bartender downstairs?
She ran the bar manager, bartender, because I know they have somebody making craft cocktails. I've seen it on their. I don't know how it all works.
Anyway, you got Jennifer, the owner, to come up and visit the table.
Actually, Corey Jane told her, and she came up and sat down and told us stories of the bar.
Great
And,
stories.
Yeah, they were scary stories and interesting, and the fact that she'd owned it for now 11 years and redid the place. Clean. I don't know if she remodeled it. She refurbished it and made it. It'd been closed for 4 years.
Because she came from California?
Yeah, and so pretty cool story, and we were pretty excited to be there, and we all left after just a great dinner and drinks there, and just went, wow, we lucked out. When
Didn't you
we
record a
picked it.
story?
Well, she talked to us, and I think a couple of you guys filmed it
Right.
on your phones, but it's really not usable.
Oh, damn it.
So I got a hold of them.
Oh, you doubled back.
I did. I doubled back when we got home. I set up a Zoom interview with them, and both Patience and Jennifer. Jennifer is the mom, owner, and Patience, Vespa rider, and her daughter who works in the bar.
Although-
Sat down in the bar when they were closed behind that beautiful red velvet.
Oh, upstairs there. Backdrop.
What is that?
Wallpaper?
Wallpaper that your dad had in his bar.
Still there.
And they sat down and talked to us about the bar.
Yeah, mother and daughter, but they look like sisters.
They really did, yeah. And they're beautiful people. I mean, there's no
Absolutely.
doubt about it. So, not that really matters to us. But, wow, what a cool stop. And I had a great conversation with them. So why don't we listen to that now?
Let's do it.
I'm going to get started. We're welcoming Jennifer Keaton and Patience Lindquist, and you are the family, Jennifer, that you own Virgil's at Cimmiyotti, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And this is a wonderful, classic, historic steakhouse and lounge in downtown Pendleton in Old Town.
Yes.
We had the pleasure of having dinner there on our recent PubScoot, where we.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun having you.
It was great, and I have to get a little housekeeping out of the way. I'm supposed to say hi to Corey Jane from the guys.
Okay. Okay, we'll let her know. We will pass that along.
Yeah, she took
Sure,
good.
she said hi too. She had so much fun waiting on you.
She took good care of us, and I think we were a little noisy up there, so we're sorry.
We when people have fun. Like,
So, Jennifer, can you just give us a short history of your place, of Cimmiyotti?
do you want it to start when I took over the place 11 years ago, or go back to the beginning for a couple minutes?
Maybe all the way back to 1959. Just briefly cover how it started and why it's known so well.
Okay, so Paul Cimmiyotti and his wife Ann opened the restaurant in 1959, and it was just very iconic in this area for all of Eastern Oregon for many years. And he sold the restaurant in 1994. He was very involved with the Pendleton community. He was the roundup director His daughters were all Roundup princesses, and one of them was Queen. Just has always been a legendary steakhouse in the region. And he sold the restaurant in 1994, and it passed through a lot of different hands. He sold it to an insurance salesman. Well, he owns an insurance company here locally. He had many different people try to run it. Eventually, the restaurant was closed in 2005. It stayed closed until 2009 when I found the place. And I instantly fell in love with the classic red velvet wallpaper, the black booths, the crystal chandeliers, and it was very dilapidated. But I decided to relocate myself and my family up here from California to restore the restaurant. And we reopened 6 months later in July of 2009. And I changed the name from Cimmiyotti to Virgil's at Cimmiyotti because I always wanted to have a restaurant named Virgil's after my father. So I combined the names, and we've been here for 11 years now. And it's been 61 years since the restaurant was originally birthed.
That's a great number because I just burst into my 60s. So it's about the same age as me.
Yeah.
I know, I look so much younger. I'm kidding. When you redid the restaurant, did you roll up your sleeves and were you in there working with the workers and doing all the stuff, or directing mostly, or did the whole family get involved?
I did most of it myself, actually. There's things I had to get a new hood installed to bring it up to code, so I hired that done, and then there was a contractor that had to build a wall where they had redone the facade of the building, so there was a missing, wall up there. But all of the, cleaning and the fixing up, I did.
Wow.
And, got new carpet, had somebody that, reupholstered the booths, all the big stuff I had help with.
Well, it's a beautiful place.
Well, thank you.
What about your back bar? I saw a fleeting glimpse of it after 3 martinis when I was leaving, but I couldn't quite focus on it. But it looks like it's a classic back bar. Is it not?
Yes, it is. And then there's a beautiful piece of leather work that goes all along the top that was hand carved by Monty Beckman, a renowned saddle maker who has since passed. It was my grand opening present for him. He was my neighbor when I moved up here. He had a saddle shop right next door. And he helped me with some things. He helped me, clean up the wallpaper, and he was just always there to support me in the beginning when I was up here by myself. And so I'm really honored to have that hanging above the bar now.
That's great. Next time we come through, we are definitely going to check that out.
Okay.
But we really enjoyed ourselves up there, and the food was delicious. And thank you again for the warm hospitality.
Oh, you're so welcome.
So let's get into the meat of the matter, so to speak. It's a steakhouse. I was just waiting to use that. You came and sat down with us and told us a few stories about the place. I'd like to follow up with that because we weren't prepared to get anything recorded or to have anything official like we're doing now. So I'd like to kind of cover a few of those. But when my first question would be, when you purchased a restaurant after being closed for a few years and started scrambling around and going through the place, that's known to sometimes stir up spirits. Did you experience anything at the very beginning as you were working on the restaurant?
It was probably about a month in, maybe, probably about a month, I would say, that I experienced my first encounter, which I didn't really know what it was at first. Well, I mentioned how that I hired somebody to build this wall, and it's right up, I'm looking at it, it's right up by the corner of the bar by the front door. And my son, he was 4 at the time, he was up here with me for this trip. I would come up and work on the place for a week and then go back down to California and work for 2. And so him and I left and walked down to a farmer's market, and we came back maybe an hour later, and the gentleman who I didn't know that well then, he was all upset. He said, I almost burned my restaurant down because I had a candle burning on the bar, and my Bible was laying there. I would get up and read the Bible every day before I started on the work, my Bible had lit on fire. I just kind of panicked. Like, I just thought, oh my gosh, I was super scared. I had everything I owned, my savings, everything was on the line. And oh my God, I almost burnt my restaurant down. And I just cleaned everything up and put it in the dumpster out back. And then went upstairs and he left and I was giving my son a bath and something just didn't sit right. I'm like, there's no way that a flame jumped out and, it just didn't feel right. So I called the fire department and the fire marshal came down and I dug everything out of the dumpster and set it up on the bar exactly how it had been and laid the Bible out. And he said there's no way that could have started the fire. And he thought it was arson. That was there somebody that didn't want me to reopen the restaurant? Maybe somebody snuck in the back door, did this while the guy is 6 feet away. It was just impossible that a human could have done this. And so I was terrified because I knew a human hadn't done it. There was no possibility. I mean, it was impossible.
Right.
And so the next day I just packed up and started driving, didn't know if I was coming back. And my sister lives 3 hours south of here. And by the time I got to her house, I was kind of calmed down. And I just decided that I was going to take my son down to stay with my parents and that I would come back and I would continue to work on the restaurant. And I did, but I was very uneasy being in here alone, especially at night by myself from that point forward.
I bet. So that was the Bible that you showed us when we were having, and and I didn't notice, I did open it and saw the scorched pages. And was there any particular passage or anything that was scorched that was meaningful or pertinent, do you think, to the restaurant?
Not that I know of. I mean, it was just, I was reading the book of Isaiah at that time, so it was just where my Bible had been laid open. But I haven't really tried to figure out if there was something, significant.
Yeah. And Patience, how about you? You work there.
And you work here.
You work here. You're actually sitting in the restaurant right now. I see the
velvet wallpaper would be a great background.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. I haven't had many experiences. I've had a couple little things, and they've just been quirky, kind of fun, made me feel safe things. There's a picture of Paul Cimmiyotti right above the bar, and I'm the bartender. And one day when I got here, above his picture, there's a picture light, and my little step ladder that I have, I was just a couple inches away from reaching the light bulb. And so I asked the cook if he would come and change the light bulb because I couldn't reach it. And then I started Windexing his picture while I was waiting for the chef to come switch the light bulb. And,
always staying busy.
And I got his picture frame all nice and polished, and his glass, right when I finished Windexing it, his light just came back on.
Oh, nice. He was just getting your attention.
He was like, just clean me up.
There you
and
go.
I thought that was really sweet. There was another little time. So behind the bar, there's a hallway, and we use it for storage. It's my bar storage hallway. And one wall, on the other side of the wall, there's a server station. And there's a little tiny hole that leads from the hallway into the server station. And whenever there's a server in there, we'll knock on it and kind of chat through the wall and just do goof around with each other. And I was back there one time, and there was just a little tap on the wall. And so I tap back and was like, oh, hey. And there was nobody there.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Just a little hello.
Just a little hey.
So when I came to the restaurant, I came upstairs. I walked up the stairs, and there's a station right there in the corner. I guess straight ahead from the stairs, maybe slightly to the right. And I got a distinct feeling, and Corey Jane was up there. Does she go by CJ by chance?
It's Corey Jane.
It's going to be CJ from here on, though.
Oh, okay.
No, Corey Jane was up there. We didn't know who she was at the time, or even that she was our server. But I said to her, "There's something. There's a ghost in this corner," and she visibly stood up and looked at me and said, "I'm going to tell the owner." And she said, or you said, I can't remember, that was an area of the bar that was also active, of the restaurant.
Yeah, she came downstairs immediately and was like, "Oh my gosh, Jennifer," because I have talked about that corner for years. And she told me about you and said that you got to go up there and talk. I mean, he sensed that ghost there in the corner that you're always talking about. So, of course, I went upstairs and we started talking about it. But yeah, there's definitely something there in that corner.
Yeah. Do you have any idea of who this might? I mean, it sounds like there's more than one. I mean, if it's Paul, maybe he's one of them. He's maybe the overseer. But there's something else, something darker that happened earlier that I think you mentioned that you had cleansed.
Yes, I've had the restaurant cleansed, blessed by a priest, and we had a whole, ceremony blessing of the restaurant. Really, it was trying to do like an exorcism, but that helped. And then I've had energy healers, distant, that work on it. And I've done my own thing. I've done salt perimeters, and I light Jesus candles and walk around the restaurant with sage and, like proclaim it that, all negativity out, only peace, love, and joy remain. That's what I do. And I feel like it has gotten a lot better over the years. And this most recent, I have this woman who I believe is very powerful, and she did a big cleansing on the restaurant. And I think it really helped elevate the, vibration. I mean, because there's more good here than negative is what I've always felt. But that one upstairs in the corner, it is a heavy presence and it's stubborn. And, but luckily this place is filled with more things of light and angels and Paul and, whatever, good things.
Good.
So,
well, it certainly has good food too. So,
well,
is there any other, I mean, you told the Bible story, is there any other distinct experience that you had that you would like to share that would be fascinating, of interest from either of you?
No. I believe the most intense experience that I had, which was even more intense than the Bible initially, it was about a week after I opened, the restaurant was open. And I mentioned how I was always uneasy and here working by myself at night, when I was working on fixing the place up. But the restaurant was open for business. It was the middle of the day. And I was in that hallway that Patience was talking about behind the bar. The cooks are in the kitchen. We're not open for service yet, but it's, middle of the day. Other staff is here working. And I'm in that hallway, and I had boxes of wine piled up in between where I was putting the wine away. And then there's piles of boxes of wine to get back out of the hallway. So I'm kind of like, stuck in there putting wine away, and I'm not even thinking about being afraid or uneasy. I'm just putting wine away, middle of the day, cooks are here, and just all of a sudden there was this loud whooshing noise. I just had a vision of this woman with long black hair burning. And I screamed and jumped, leapt, like inhumanly possible over this whole pile of, boxes and wine, and just flew out of there. And, came out here into the lounge, and then just back behind us is the rest of the kitchen. And, it was terrifying.
Yeah. And it was a vision that you saw, or a vision that you felt internally?
No, I really think I saw it.
Oh, wow.
It was a woman with black hair being burned. And later I realized in that hallway, it's an old building from the early 1800s. And there, obviously has been some things moved around, remodeling, walls changed. But there is, that was, I believe, something that was exposed at one point, because it has beautiful wood wainscoting that goes up and trim, and there's wallpaper, old wallpaper. And as I looked in there later, I realized that there had been a fire in there. There's remnants of some kind of little fire that happened there.
Wow. And I hadn't noticed the fire when I had that vision. It was later that I noticed, because there's a bunch of shelves and it's kind of, hard to see, but
definitely there's been a fire in there.
Wow,
You look up, the whole ceiling is scorched and black. It's very creepy back there.
Yeah. Well, those are great stories. And the building must have a basement too.
It does.
And I've read that in Pendleton there are tunnels under the city.
Yes.
There's a tour even.
Yes, there was an underground city.
Was it for the Chinese while they were there? Or?
Yeah.
So does your building, your restaurant connect to those tunnels? Do you know if that is the case?
All kind of connects. I can't get down to, there, but there's a retaining wall down there. And then there's like something about the size of a small window. Yeah, and there's lots of tunnels, but it looks like have been, sealed up.
Good. So Patience, do you like going down there by yourself?
No, I don't go down there.
So real quick, I mean, the name of our podcast, as you probably are painfully aware, is Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. And we rarely find, in fact, I'm not sure we've ever found a place like yours that checks every box for our podcast, because you ride a Vespa.
I do have a Vespa.
Tell us about it. Yeah, tell us about it. What is it? Which one?
It's a Vespa LX 150. It's a year 2007. I've only had it for about 2 or 3 months now. I am just teaching myself how to ride it and loving it all the time.
Yeah, that's great.
You rode it down here today.
I did ride it down
Beautiful.
here today.
We snuck down there after the next day and took our pictures with our scooters out front of your restaurant. I don't know if you guys, it looked like you put it on your Facebook. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was great.
Well, I don't know if I have a lot more to talk to you guys about, other than we are going to come back and bother you and
can't wait.
and get you out and ride with us for a few hours, maybe. Patience. And Jennifer, you need to get a scooter.
Okay.
Yeah, Mom. You'll love it.
Because, you've got Scooters, Ghosts, and Bars, and you get to live it every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, she might let me try to ride hers and see if I feel like it's a good fit.
All right. So why don't you tell us and everybody just when you're open and maybe your website and what's the best way to connect with you guys?
Well, the phone number is a good way if somebody wanted to make a reservation. Our phone number is 541-276-7711, and we're open Tuesday through Saturday beginning at 4 p.m., and we're located at 137 South Main Street, Pendleton, Oregon.
And our website name is virgils@Cimmiyotti.com?
Yes.
Yes, and it's a very nice website, and that's where the Pendleton Roundup typically is, though this year got canceled, right?
Yes.
What
and
time?
Her sister is actually a Pendleton Roundup princess.
Oh.
Was going to be this year, but Roundup's been
postponed.
It's not happening. Yeah, postponed. There we go. We don't like the word cancel.
No.
So she was invited back to be princess next year. So she will be serving for 2 years, this year and next. And so next year she will be jumping the rail, running across the grass arena, doing the grand entry for the Pendleton Roundup, and her picture will hang up in here, just like Paul Cimmiyotti's daughters.
Wow.
Their Roundup court years.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. You got to be really proud of all your children, I'm sure.
Second full week in September is the Pendleton Roundup.
It's a blast.
It is.
You should come if you've never been.
Okay. It'll be a year from now in September, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We fence off the back parking lot and set up a big dining room tent and do tablecloths. It's like full service dining back there for the week of Roundup, and have a band and a bar, and it's a lot of fun.
Sounds like my thing. It sounds wonderful.
Too much fun.
So Jennifer and Patience, thank you so much for taking the time out of your, I'm sure, very few days off, because I know how hard that business is. And we really appreciate it. And we will keep sharing your great story. Okay, well.
Fabulous story.
I
The
wish
Bible?
Yeah.
Who would have thunk?
Bible and shadow people and voices and
That's some crazy shit. The burning Bible was the topper for me. That just blows my mind.
Well, especially when you combine those things together, it tugs at everything that terrifies you.
And she brought it to the table too.
She did.
Yeah.
We posted that on our Instagram page. If you don't follow us, we're at
How can they follow us?
Chasing Ghosts Pod on Facebook and Instagram, Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars, Twitter.
If they're
Chasing
listening to
Ghosts
this,
on
aren't they
Scooters and
already
Bars.
on
They
something?
probably already follow us and are deeply involved. So
just don't review us.
Yeah.
Is the lesson.
Actually, if you review us, we may even interview you.
Oh.
You just never know. But thank you, Jennifer and Patience, for taking the time out of your day off after working so hard in that business. I know how hard it is. I've been in the bar business, and you're in something way bigger than that. You have restaurants and steaks and all kinds of things. So thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks to our listeners for listening.
All around the world.
Weeknights.
Wait, we didn't finish the night.
Yeah? Where else did we go?
Dairy Queen.
Ice cream.
Not for everybody.
There was an extra one. I forgot who it was for, though.
It was for him.
Did you drop? Oh, you forgot. I
didn't
texted you.
No, we brought it back.
Get me the Child's Blizzard.
No, we brought it back.
What
at great
peril?
personal peril. Yes, we did.
Where did it go?
It got.
Well, part of it ended up on my scooter, but it got back to the hotel.
I got it. I was very.
Oh, that's right.
Very,
You got it.
Very happy to have ice cream that night.
Well, I didn't eat it. And
We did a little sightseeing.
I'm on the intermittent fasting thing, so I don't eat after like 6 o'clock anyway. How was that ride when you went to go
It
get
was
ice cream?
it was a little bit scary.
Did you hold a
I
carrier?
am reasonably sure we passed 3 cops that looked at us and said, "Oh God, that's too easy. Just let them go."
Well, they're spending money in town.
Exactly.
So,
Do you have I need a birch leaf to beat my back here. It's about 112 degrees sitting in this
shit.
corner.
it's
here.
really warm, and we're going to open the garage door in just a minute.
I mean, you mean the studio door?
Well, right now it's a garage. We didn't get to shut the studio down. Anyway, thanks to Weeknights for the original music and our little hot-hearted crew that's weathering this temperature. Appreciate it, and giving up your evening to make this little passion project.
You promised a night in a
happen.
sauna, and this is it.
There we go.
Until then,
And
what?
everybody, please keep your head on a swivel. All jokes aside.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Watch out for opals.
Yeah.
All right, be safe out there. Mask up, glove up, keep your
Achtung!
head on a swivel,
Achtung!
rubber side down, and I don't know, ride.
Ride.
Copyright 2020 by Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.